Hello everybody. I'm making this video because I want to share with you guys a really emotional and inspirational story, and it has to do with my mom. She recently went through something that some people think may only happen in the movies, and I just think that, like I said before, it's a very emotional story, and I really want everybody to hear it and everybody to know, because my mom is such an amazing woman and she's so loving and so giving that this story just proves the type of person that she is, and the type of person or the type of people that she wants us to be, and everything that she's taught us throughout our lives, and how we're growing up and stuff. We are a very close-knit family, so this is really hitting home for us. But I just want everybody to just know how my mother is, and just to know this story and know what's going on, because it's very, like I said, it's just a very inspirational story. So I just want everybody just to listen and to hear, and just, I just want to get the story out there, because this is not something that does happen every single day, and it is something that is happening to our family right now, and we would really like your love and your support, during this time, just so we can, figure out what to do and everything. But I just want to give you a little bit of information, so I'm going to show you guys a clip of my mom telling us the story and telling us what happened, so that you guys have a little bit more information. Here we go.
Back to come through Alhambra, she's like, oh, like this, and I turned around and I'm like, are you okay? And I could see that she's crying in the mirror, and it's dark. So I'm like, are you okay?
Don't make a mess.
And she's like, no. Oh, she's like, oh my God. She's like, I think I'm in labor. And I'm like, I turned back, I looked at her, to look at her stomach, what the hell? You don't have a stomach, girl. But when I looked at her, I'm like, oh shit. I said, are you sure? Okay. And she's like, yeah. She's like,
is this one of those I didn't know I was pregnant?
Yes. She's told me. The girl I picked up yesterday.
She didn't know she was pregnant.
She didn't know she was pregnant till she was 5 months pregnant. She said, and she's never been to a doctor, didn't go get no prenatal care, nothing. I said, so I'm out. I'm like, sweetheart, how far along are you? And she's like, 38 weeks and 6 days. Like, how the fuck do you even know that? Okay, but I didn't know that she didn't have no prenatal care or anything. So I'm like, oh my gosh. I said, do I need to take you to the hospital? Then she's like, that's where we're going, Alhambra Hospital. I'm like, oh shit. So I looked at the thing, and I'm like, wait a minute, but I didn't even realize Alhambra Hospital is a small hospital. They don't have labor and delivery there. So I drove up to the hospital. I'm like, I said, sweetie, is there somebody I could call? She's a young little girl. Can I call your mom? Somebody? And she's like, no. She's like, they don't know. I don't want
Oh my God.
I'm like, oh my God. I said, a friend? Do you have friends? Somebody I can call, a best friend, No, nobody knows. I said, then I asked, I'm like, are you keeping this baby? And she goes, no. And I'm like, oh my God.
Teen mom.
Like, shit. So I was like, oh my God. So I got to the hospital. I pulled up right in the front. I'm like, hey, this girl's in labor in my car. I said, and she's like looking at me. I said, is there a wheelchair or something?
The movies. Come on.
No, she's like, hold on. She goes to the side. The guy comes out of the sliding door, and he's like, is she in labor? And I'm like, yeah. So stupid guy walks to the car, and I'm like, I'm telling you, she's in labor. And she's like, oh, did she get another contraction? Yeah. And they're literally 3 minutes apart, these contractions, right? Because I'm timing them. The baby's coming. So I'm like, dude, what do I do? So then he's like, I said, can you get her a wheelchair so we could take her in? And then he's like, we don't have labor and delivery here. I'm like, oh shit. And then he goes, you're gonna have to take her to San Gabriel Hospital. He's all, because that's the closest hospital that has labor and delivery. I'm like, okay. I said, okay, close the door, let's go. I said,
hey, be nice.
And they could have ambulanced her to over there, but they
Bubba,
just can't.
Be nice.
Hey, Bubba's, play together.
I think it was better that I just took her over there, only because she had no prenatal care, and they had an extra unit come in to the room to assess the baby when the baby was born. So we came in, and then I'm like, I need a wheelchair, then the emergency guy's like, no, take her around through the front and then get a wheelchair. I'm like, oh shit. So I go around to the front, and I tell the guard, I'm like, I need a wheelchair. Is there a wheelchair here? I said, because I have a girl in my car, she's in labor. He's like, oh, okay. I'm like, They're all looking at me. She's a black girl, okay? And they're all looking at me like, who the hell are you? And I'm like, I'm the fucking Uber driver, okay? So can you just get me a wheelchair?
Oh my god.
And he's like, he's like, okay. So he went to the side. He got me a wheelchair. He's like, just put your car up forward more right there. Get her and then take her in. And when you can come back, then you move your car. I'm like, well, because I said, can I leave my car there? I said, because I don't need somebody giving me a ticket or trying to tow my damn car. I said, that's my car right there, the blue one. He's like, no, yeah, leave it right there. When take her in and get her done, and then when you can come out, then you can move it. So I'm like, okay. So I went, I pulled the car forward, I got the wheelchair. I'm like, okay, sweet, come on, get in the wheelchair. So she gets off and she's in pain. So I'm like, how did I get to labor and delivery? He's like, go down there. So I'm wheeling her down to labor
Oh my
and
god,
delivery.
how stupid.
I'm like,
it's not like the movies where they take her and they do everything.
They don't take her.
Fucking
They're
shit.
making me do it. So I'm taking her around. So I come up to the little nurses station in the labor and delivery area.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she's in labor. Like, this baby's coming now. Like, and the lady looked and she's like, oh, shoot. Okay. She comes over and then the other one's Asian lady. Oh, do you have a doctor? Oh, do you have... I'm like, she don't got nothing. Okay? She gave me her ID and her medical card.
Yeah.
I said, this is her stuff. She needs to get in a room because this baby's coming.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. So we go she's like, come on. So we take her into the room, put her on the bed, start doing her. She gets in there. She checks her. She's already at 10 plus.
God.
She's 10 plus. Like, the baby's about to crown already, coming out.
Ew.
And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, sweetheart, I said, do you want me to stay with you? Like, you can't do this alone. Like, I'm like, she's 19 years old. I'm like,
God.
are you sure there's nobody I could call for you? And she's like, I don't want nobody to come. I don't want nobody to know. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. I said, I'll stay with you. And
wow,
and
mother.
So they started moving, getting the stuff. Then they're arguing about the fucking doctor because she don't have a doctor. So the doctor is on call. The guy's telling her because he already got the thing set up. So they set up everything. They are hooking her to IV, doing all her stuff. They set her up, and then they come and they're like arguing. Well, he's telling her, why don't you just call the emergency doctor? And she's like, because why call him? He's not gonna come over here. And she's like, where's the doctor on call that come for people who come in that don't have a doctor or that are traveling and they just go into labor and they have to go to the hospital?
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm on Garfield 5 to 10 minutes away. She's like, okay, sweetie, don't. She's like, I gotta push. I'm like, hold on, babe. I'm like, just breathe and relax. I said, don't push yet. She's all, but it's hard. I said, I know, but just push. I'm like, you're doing good. She did really good for being like never having a baby and experiencing that kind of pain. So I was just relax and
Go show daddy.
So she so finally they got her all prepped and everything. She catheterized her. She did everything quick, like boom boom. This little black nurse. So she's a black nurse.
Yeah.
And she was just like, because they had to take a piece as specimen, they had to do blood. This girl has no prenatal care, no history of anything, nothing. Everything. Yeah, they no drugs, HIV, they were, you name it, she was calling it out. And then she's like, here, I'm gonna have you help. I said, okay. So I have a piece of paper, and she's like, grab a pen from my pocket. So I grab a pen. How much do you weigh? I'm writing it down. How tall are you? I'm writing it down. When did your contractions start? I'm writing it down.
Hey,
when did your water
nice.
break? So her water broke at 1 o'clock in the fucking afternoon, and the girl doesn't think to go to the hospital.
Go play with him. You better go give him one.
I picked her up at 8:15, like almost 8:15. So from 1 to 8, she's at home. Her water broke, everything, but she don't go nowhere. She just stays there in the room. So she's having pain until it started getting bad. Then she's like, okay, I think I need to go to the hospital now.
So she got an Uber to go to the fucking hospital?
So she calls an Uber to come to the hospital, yes.
How stupid.
So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm writing all her stuff down, okay, here you go, lady, like to the nurse, here you go. So she's like, okay, thank you. She's like,
how the fuck she pay for the Uber?
She has money, but
so
she's
weird.
just, she didn't want to tell nobody that she's having a baby. So I'm like, oh my God. So they come in, finally the doctor gets there because the emergency doctor, of course, he never shows up. And then they're like, where's your doctor at? They're all making fun of the guy over here because he's like, call the emergency doctor. He'll come do it. And she's like, yeah, it's protocol for us to call them, but he ain't coming. They don't do that.
Oh God.
And so she's like, what? So she's holding it. Finally, he comes and he's like, okay. He starts putting his hand in there and moving it.
Why does the delivery nurse just let her deliver?
Because the doctor's not there to get the baby.
She could deliver it. I've seen the nurse deliver the baby.
Well, none of these girls were willing to catch that baby coming out. So
They don't want to be liable.
they don't want to be liable for that kind of stuff. You had the placenta and everything coming out. Nobody wants to be liable for that shit.
I mean,
So
I don't know.
I mean, unless it's coming out in your car, you don't have a choice. You know, when you're in a car or outside somewhere, then you don't have a choice. But if you're in the hospital, she had her hand in there and she's blocking that baby from coming out. She was holding her hand in there.
oh,
And I was like, oh my God. And she's like, is there? I said, I know, just relax. I said, just breathe.
their body wants to like
Just breathe.
push it
'Cause,
out.
her body was just like, huh?
How was the baby when it came?
The baby was fine. She was fine, yeah.
Oh, it's a girl?
A little girl.
Wow.
A little girl. She was 6 pounds, 9 ounces.
You told her, can we take her home?
I told her, I'm like, she's so beautiful. I'm like, she doesn't want her. She can't. She's like, I said, sweetie, there's no way you could keep this baby. She goes, no. She's like, her dad is diabetic, has his both legs amputated. He's like 60 some years old. Her mom's 58 years old. They're old. She's like, my parents are old in age. And she's like, I'm the youngest. And she's like, I can't keep her. And I
Wow.
said, if there was a way for you to keep her, somebody to help you, would you keep her? She goes, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, my heart broke. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's, to be in that kind of a situation. And so
I'll
last night,
adopt her.
so last night when we were over there, I held her.
Yeah.
She didn't want to hold her. She's like,
Oh, my
so I'm like,
goodness.
I said, can I hold her? She didn't want to hold her. So I said, can I hold her? She's like, yeah, you can hold her. So I got her and I was holding her. She was looking at her, she was
Yeah.
looking at her and everything. And then they took her footprints and they told her, do you want the print of the footprint? She's like, yeah. She said, she'll take it. So I told her, I said, sweetie, you just really need to think about this. I said, because this is a really it's a big, hard decision and it's
Yeah.
life-changing. I said, I know you're young and I know you want to go to school, you want to finish school, you want to do that. I said, but there's people that can help you. I said,
You can do it all.
I said, it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. I said, you just have to ask for the help.
Mhm.
So she's like, but she's a really, she's immature. She's not a very mature 19-year-old girl.
Well, that's
So, so it was, I was like, oh my God. I said, if I could take your baby, I would take it right now and just be gone. Here, I'll take her and don't worry about her. See you later.
oh my
but-
gosh.
I'm like, she's a beautiful baby. I said, I said,
Yeah.
You should have told them, can I have temporary custody of her?
I said, it's just
Yeah.
sad.
You could have asked. They could have.
So the nurses in there are trying to, they were like, I feel so bad, like, does she really want to do this? And I said, she doesn't. I said, that's the thing. She
Yeah.
just feels like she has no choice to do it.
Yeah.
I said, she really doesn't. I said, I gave her my phone number. I said, if you need anything, you call me.
Yeah.
So she's like, okay. So I think they're going to keep her there today and then let her go home tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I said, I don't know what happens to the baby if she doesn't take the baby with her. The baby goes to a foster home until they
Yeah.
find an adoption.
Unless the nurse says, I want to take the baby home.
Yeah, I don't know. But the nurse that was there, she was like, I said, I know. I was 16 when I had my daughter. I said, I know it's not easy, and I told her that. What? Oh, he wants you to know he had an accident at school, so he had to bring his clothes home today.
Bubba, what happened? You pooped?
I pee.
You
But,
pooped and peed?
The nurses
On
they
accident?
She was like,
Oh my gosh.
they were
Are you
asking
okay?
her, like, when they were coming in and stuff, they were asking her like, "Oh, do you want privacy?" Like, because they knew that I was
Oh,
just her
you're
Uber
so
driver.
silly, Bubba.
After we told them, because
Goodness.
they're looking at us trying to distinguish
Be
how I know
nice.
her and how we're what our relationship.
We're
is.
not.
What nationality?
She's black. I'm telling you.
The
But
little
the baby, her hands are so white. She's light. She's not dark.
Oh.
Yeah, she's not dark. She's a light complected. I said,
Okay,
"Does
we
the
don't need
dad?"
to cry.
I
It's
said,
okay.
does the dad
It's
know?
okay.
She
We're gonna
goes, "No."
share.
She's like,
We don't need to cry. We're
I
okay.
got myself in a
You're
really
okay.
bad situation. I said,
Okay,
it's okay,
be
sweetie. I
nice.
said, you know what? Everybody does. I said,
Wait.
you make,
Let him play
everybody
with his
makes
toy.
bad decisions. I said, but it's how you deal with it that
Yeah.
matters, And she's like, I said, and this is something you have to be able to live with if you can do it. I said, I know that I couldn't do it. I said, I would not be able to give away my baby. I said, I wouldn't. I said, you know, I have 8 of them.
Hence why I'm still here.
So, but the nurse, when I told her I'm gonna go. I said, so we were talking, and she was asking me like, what kind of movies do you watch? Do you watch do you watch movies? Do you have any series or stuff that you watch? Or you know, those are that's the kind of. She was just trying to find out about me. So I was telling her, and I told her, you know, you guys are all adults, and you went to school, and you know, I told her, you know, my daughter had a baby. I said, and you know, we helped her, and she finished school, and she's a nurse now. I said, and you know, she has her daughter, and she's able to do for her. I said, and you know, we helped her. My daughter took care of her when she went to school, and you know, everybody helps. I said, because you know, that's what you do. I said, maybe if you told your mom, they would want to help you. She's like, I don't think so. She's like, they're just, she's like, I can't. Like, I think she just don't want to burden them with that, like, to ask them to do that.
Yeah.
And so she just is like, I just can't keep it.
Push it, baby.
And when the nurse, when I was leaving and the nurse was walking me out, she's like, you know,
where does this go, Bubba?
it's on the side. She said, I'm so glad that she has you and that she's here, because she's like, she really wanted you. She goes, when we asked you to step out right now, she goes, she was asking us, like, can she come back in? Like, is it okay if she comes back in and she stays here with me? And she said, yeah. The nurse was telling me that she goes, we're probably about the same age. She's like, because I have a son who's gonna be 26. She said, and I was 16 when I had him. And I said, yeah. And she's like, and you have how many as an age?
So I just want to show everybody a couple pictures of the baby, just so you guys, you know, can see how beautiful and how cute she is. So as you guys may know now, there is a beautiful little baby girl. She is staying with us. She is at our house. I do not know how my mom did this, but I just know that she has like a really big heart. And I mean, personally, like, because, you know, she is my mother and she raised me to be the person that I am, and like, you know, I want to be just as strong of a person exactly like how she is. Like, I probably would have done the same exact thing. You know, you don't want somebody to have to go through having a baby by themselves. You don't want somebody to be, you know, alone, especially when like they don't want to tell anybody. You know, like, it is a very big decision. It's a very hard decision to have to, you know, decide whether you want to keep, you know, this life that you have had in you for who knows how, you know, for the 9 months, and then just think like, what's it gonna do, you know? So everybody says that like babies change your lives, and some of them do change your life for the good. Some people think that they don't, you know. It's just everybody has their own situation. I'm not gonna get into that. I really don't want to get into that. I just want to, you know, support my mom, and you know, just to support our family and support this little girl, because we don't want to see her end up somewhere that's, you know, not going to give her a good life, that is not going to be the life that she deserves, because of how hard she worked to have this life, you know, because it's very hard. And with us, like, you know, my parents being teen parents, it's emotional. You know, my mom was 16, my dad was 15 when I was born, and I am so lucky that they decided to keep me even when they found out that they were pregnant, you know. And it's hard being that young and, you know, having to be so responsible and thinking about somebody else before yourself, with like, while you're still growing up. And like, I kid to a lot of people, telling them like, oh, you know, my parents are so young, like, you know, we're growing up together and stuff like that. But, you know, like, it is really hard, and they did have to grow up really fast, really young. And so like, I understand, you know, where this, you know, person's coming from. Like, I don't have, you know, what I have, you know, to give to her, and like, she deserves so much more. And like, you know, yes, you always want to give your kids more than what you have, and like, that's so understandable. But, you know, this story is just we never would have thought that anything like this would have ever happened to us. But I think that this story should be shared because it's not something that happens to everybody, and it's happening to us. And we are a family of 8 kids, 2 parents, 1 grandchild. Like, my uncle lives with us as well too, so it's like there's so many of us that we are, you know, we're so big, but we are so inviting. Like, even though we are a really big family, you know, we would never think twice about, you know, not keeping this little girl, I guess. You know, for my mom having to be so close to the situation and being so close to her and, like, you know, holding her and stuff like that, it's just like, it seems like it's just our first instinct, you know. And I just want to share this video because my mom is just such an inspiration, and this story is just such an inspiration that I want everybody to know, you know, what type of a person she is. You know, she deserves so much more than what she's getting. This little girl deserves so much more, you know. And I just want everybody to know, and to, you know how we feel and know how proud we are of my mom and how much we support her and how much, you know, we are gonna love this little girl. We may not have a lot, but, you know, one thing that the Manchas have is, you know, we have a lot of love for each other. You know, we support each other, we're there for each other, we do everything together. You know, a lot of people always ask us, like, how do you guys do it? Like, you guys are such a big family, how do you manage everything? And it's like, we manage everything because of our parents. Because our parents, you know, they organize everything. They want us to be a close-knit family. They want us to learn how to support each other, to learn how to be there for each other, you know, just to be a family. That is what they wanted and what they have instilled in us, and even till this day, you know. So I really hope that everybody watches this video and is just, you know, inspired to, you know, help out. You know, it's hard. Even if you have nothing, you can still give back. You can still do something, you know. So thank you guys for taking your time to watch this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope it inspires you to do something good for somebody else too.